Emotionally unavailable.
Okay, welcome to Emotionally Unavailable. I'm so excited because this is the first conversation about this topic that I've ever had on here. So that's really exciting for me. And I was so open to it because, well, I'm learning just little bits and pieces about how your lymph system impacts you and your mental health. Like I knew a little bit about the lymphatic system just from because I was a hospice social worker for a lot of years. So like I had a real baseline understanding, but I'm really curious about this. So thank you for being willing to come on. I'm really excited. I
Oh,
was
yeah, we all
curious.
need to be excited
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's important. It really is. Let's start as a baseline with explaining the lymphatic system to our audience, because again, we've never talked about this on here.
Sure. Number one, people can find a lot about me on social media under Lymph Man, but my name is John Ossipinsky. It's just a little hard to say, so that's why I use Lymph Man. People can find me much easier. And
They're
it's a
synonymous at this
system.
point.
Yeah, exactly. And
Good.
every single one of us, if you can imagine this, every single one of us has a lymphatic system, but we never think about it. It's a tiny network of vessels and nodes. It ends right here. Everything in your head has to flow down. Everything in your body, your organs, your blood vessels, your bones, muscles, everything, the waste from them all has to flow right into our but behind our clavicles is one little vessel, like the size of an angel hair posture, that has to accept that waste. And when we get tight in our shoulders, when we sit in front of a computer for long periods, even just a little bit of if I just go like that, that slows or stops my lymph system. I can feel it. I just back up a little bit. So we all live that way most of our times, right? You just straightened up. Doesn't that feel different?
Yeah.
Right? It feels different in our body. No one has ever told us that if we slouch a little bit, it'll crimp this plumbing system that we have that's meant to clean us and move around immune cells. And I believe that's the reason why many of us are very sick. And it's really this one system not functioning to clean your body. And in 2006, geez, it's a while ago, I published an undetected acid alkaline imbalance. My book explains how when we become acidic in our body, we spend $2 billion just in the USA alone on antacids and proton pump inhibitors. You don't have to have any symptoms of being acidic, but it could be silently damaging your bones, your blood vessels, and you never know this. And then years later, you wonder why we get a disease. So it's a system that we all have to start thinking of. It's not thought of in medicine, but it's going to change. Because even though I wrote my book in 2006, in 2023, NIH, the National Institutes of Health, they put out a report. And I'm going to read what they wrote, so I'll be clear. It's really short. This is from NIH. Changes in normal lymphatic function can alter multiple systems in the body and manifest as different and varied pathologies. Your pathologies are your diseases. And there are many conditions related to lymphatic dysfunction within all body systems. And I believe that verifies what I sort of wrote years ago, that disease begins with lymphatic dysfunction. And it's easy to understand. We have this system that's meant to clean everything. Even it's in your blood vessels, outside your blood vessels, in your organs, outside your organs, in your muscles. It's everywhere. In your brain. They just found it in 2015. And before that, they've always said, don't think about the lymph system for anxiety, emotional problems, or depression, or, Alzheimer's, because there's no lymph system in the brain. Well, now we know there is a lymph system right outside the brain and the membranes that surround the brain that we can gain control over to help how we feel and think. And, that's something that's missed in medicine. So when we go to talk to our doctors about things about our mental health, you mentioned the lymphatic system, they really aren't going to understand it.
Maybe I've been more exposed to like functional medicine then, and that's why I've
Most
heard
people,
about
when we
it.
think of the lymphatic system, we think of what? Cancer, right? We think of swelling.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
That's really what it's sort of. But once you understand the simplicity of this system that's meant to clean us and has to drain right here, and then we have major lymph nodes in every crease of the body that we're meant to move. And if we sit around a lot and we don't move, then we don't pump those lymph nodes. We don't move our muscles to move lymph fluid. And then we start filling with our own cellular waste. right? It's just
That's
our
what
own
it
waste that's
is.
building in our body. That's what creates our inflammation, our eczema, our rosacea, our weight gain. I mean, 2 studies in 2005 linked obesity to damaged lymph vessels, but we never hear about these things. So I'm about 20 years ahead of medicine, and actually that's about it, right? I realized this in 2023. I published in 2026, and NIH just realized this, and it'll take them 20 or 30 years to realize that the importance of this. So to me, it's every single person has to understand their lymphatic system if they want to have an edge in preventing disease, overcoming an illness, and retiring and having your mind as we age, because so many people are losing our ability to think as we age, and it's very sad.
Yes. Oh,
And
that
that's the
is so
lymph-brain
real.
connection. Yeah.
Wow. And so, can I clarify? Do you believe that some, to say conservatively, um, autoimmune disorders would
Yeah,
be
there are over
related?
100. Yeah, there are over 100 of them. And once you understand the lymph system, how it has to clean up the inflammation, an autoimmune disease is just your immune cells becoming too ramped up, cytokines they call them, and they're just getting too many in the body. We need some in our body for inflammation, to help inflammation, to heal a wound. But what happens is the lymph system can't clean that up, and they just keep on producing and producing and producing, and that damages a specific organ or a specific tissue or a gland, and we call that an autoimmune disease. And again, this hasn't been proved. This is my opinion, but NIH just came out saying that, hello, we need to look at the lymphatic system. It's much more important than we think it is.
Right, exactly. And research will always be behind. So, just for the audience to know that and to say, just because this isn't quote unquote mainstream or whatever, doesn't mean don't take note. Because certainly I've been hearing not even this much, but some over the last few years, which is why I was like, yes, let's talk about this, because you said if you have tight shoulders, and I was like, honey, I live with tight shoulders. And I'm like, no wonder my lymph nodes are always just, you can see them. They're always just so swollen.
And we
My
don't
poor
want to
little
ignore that.
lymphatic system. Well, okay, and
Right.
before, I don't want to forget to
Yeah.
ask you this, but does your book or your institute, any of the things kind of, because we're giving kind of a brief overview of what this is, but do you go into like a diagram, anything like that people could like actually see for themselves what this system is?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
in my book, I definitely have that. I always have little placards. I'm not
Oh,
really big in
perfect.
digital, but we all have a tiny network of vessels and nodes, and most of the nodes are in our creases, but they all have to go up into our neck. And once our neck becomes a little bit congested, then the rest of your body. And we have 2 different
Mm.
types of lymph vessels, one deeper in our body, in your blood vessels, organs, and outside of them, in your muscles, in your fascia. And then we have right under your skin. And that's why we see things, right? That's why we see things like black blemishes. We see acne. We see different problems, because the lymph system has a way it's supposed to flow. And when we back up, and most people are backed up, it just backs up. And I used to have 3 pimples right here in my head when I was younger, before I learned about this. And it would always come when I was more toxic, now I know. And if you look, a lot of people have pimples here or furrows here in this area. It's because the lymph is backing up. It can't pick up waste here, and it just backs up. And as soon as I learned how to drain my lymph system, those pimples went away, and they never came back.
Wow.
So I rerouted my lymphatic system to properly deal with that waste. But that's the same thing for cancer. It's the same thing for fibromyalgia. It's the same thing for digestive issues. I had
I was
IBS
just
for
about to
30
ask you about
years.
digestion.
Yeah, digestion is a big problem, right? I had it for 30 years, diagnosed for 20, and I had it bad. Anything I ate, I ran to the bathroom, right? I mean, it was crazy. And then 3 weeks after learning how to and again, I was a certified lymphedema therapist, but I specialize in the brain because I understand. I learned craniosacral therapy before, and I was the diplomat certified in craniosacral therapy. So then I brought the brain into the lymph system. But the lymph system is really everything. But my specialty is that. But digestive issues, it's rampant, right? And you have over 200 to 300 lymph nodes in your abdomen. They have to flow. The waste has to flow up into your neck. And what happens is we slouch a little bit, or we eat too much acidic foods, our standard American diet, and that makes your intestines very acidic, and that now your lymph can't flow, and it just sort of stays stagnant in there. And it just, think of leaky gut. All right. If you think of leaky gut,
Ah.
it's a word people use a lot, and it's also very prominent. If we have a system that's meant to clean every system, every cell in your body, and if it can't clean your intestines, what is it going to do? It's going to leak out, right? That is leaky gut. Most people don't even know what it is. It's just the
Yeah, I
fact that
didn't.
these vessels or somewhere in your lymph system is clogged up, and that's allowing waste, just acidic waste, and it can turn into all different things. If our environment changes in our body, we can get parasites, we can get candida, we can get cancer. So we want to get this lymph system going, and really, my digestive issues healed within a few weeks, and totally within a few months. But at that time, I was having many other health problems. I was having heart palpitations. I was having restless leg syndrome, very severe. My hands and legs would cramp all the time. My back would actually twist. My muscles were so tight. And I gained 70 pounds. My hair was falling out. And once I started maintaining my lymphatic system in a specific manner that I developed, my hair filled back in. I'm 68 right now. I was 47 when I thought I was dying. I told my wife, I'm thinking, because I was dealing with a lot of people with cancer. That's what I did for a living, brain problems and cancer, and swelling. And I said, I think I'm getting cancer. And then I realized I have to change my life. And what I did was I ate vegetables. I never ate vegetables. I hated vegetables. I ate vegetables, cooked vegetables. I didn't even eat them raw. I ate some salads. I ate fruit, took some magnesium and digestive enzymes. And I maintained my lymphatic system with some exercise and with my hands. And within 3 weeks, my brain popped. My brain popped. I mean, that's amazing. If you look on TV, you'll see these commercials with two balloons. One's getting smaller. Our brain is shrinking, they're saying. And it is shrinking. It's because it's getting lack of
Yeah.
circulation. The lymphatic system has to complete circulation. It's a secondary system that has to complete circulation. And if it can't flow, then parts of your body, right, are not functioning optimally. But my brain actually popped. So my life changed. I'm 68 years old. I feel great. I hope to be 115. I'm not perfect in my life. I like to eat some standard American diet on the weekend sometimes, but I still balance everything, right? And I take magnesium, which is very important. Most people only take a little bit at night. We need to take it a couple of times during the day, and then we do much better. It's simple things, and eat a lot more vegetables than we eat. And I do eat meat. A lot of people ask, oh, you don't eat meat? No, I eat meat. My father was a butcher. Where I used to eat a ribeye every day and have it for a sandwich the next day, I'll have a filet mignon, and me and my wife will share one filet mignon, and I'll have that every couple of months. I don't eat a lot of beef. I eat more chicken, fish, turkey, things like that. They're still also acid forming, but they're just easier to digest in your body. So it's just little changes. And if you want to get well, you have to be pretty consistent. I went crazy. I was like, my God, my life is changing. I'm 47. I got kids. I may die. And I changed 30 days. 30 days, I changed my life. And that's what I do in my courses, but I make it easier. We break it into weekly things, so it's much easier in just a few days a week, but it works. So we have to learn to gain control of our diet, not being perfect in your life. That's too hard. That's stressful alone, right? I'm sure you'll agree, Melissa, right?
Yeah.
If we have to live a perfect life, some people can eat just salmon every day. I just have a salad every day. Most people, 85% of people are like me. We're not going to do that. So we have to make it easy for them. But most importantly, besides changing your diet, is learning and we're going to get your shoulders relaxed. We're going to get them relaxed. By the end of the episode, we're going to be moving our shoulders. We're going to be doing a little bit of stretching, some deep breathing, and you're going to feel flow in your body. And that flow is what heals us. We're not flowing. And that's what's creating most of our problems. Even in your dogs, they just had surgery, right? What you want to do on your dogs is you want to just go down their neck like this with your hand, and that will open up the lymph vessels right here in the neck and push right into the bone there very gently. Or you can just put your hands on top of their shoulders for a few minutes, and that will open up their lymph system, because their little surgery that they had is going to interfere with the lymphatic system. And if we can open it up, they'll heal much better.
I've heard tons about pH and alkalinity, never in depth, but the fitness gurus love to talk about that, but they don't explain it like you do. So are you saying all of that relates to your lymphatic system?
And I was like you. To build my business every Thursday when I was in practice, and after 26 years and COVID came out, I said, I'm done seeing people, and I started teaching people. So I'm very much like you, where 10 years before I even wrote my book, someone put a strip in my mouth and said, "You're acidic." And I said, "What? I'm acidic?" I laughed at it. What would have happened if I would have realized that what I realize now, that acidity is stopping the lymphatic system creating disease, right? So I'm getting tingles thinking about that. I wish I would have opened my mind. So if you're hearing this for the first time, what we eat makes a difference. Many people, we go to our doctors, they give us drugs. We take drugs and eat the standard American diet. If we take some medication and we eat healthier most of the time, not all of the time, then we'll do much better, because our food, when we eat fruits and vegetables, have magnesium, have potassium, have a lot of the nutrients, what we call antioxidants, that we need to fight free radicals in the body. But understanding acid alkaline balance is key. And it really is a fringe. It's a fringe. It's out there. It's way out there, but it's been out there for 40 or 50 years. I'll tell you a quick story, how I learned about it. I had this client who came into me. He was in his 70s. He just had pneumonia and his lymph flowed. I was like, the doctor I learned from, he taught us how to feel lymph flow in the body. And he explained how in the 70s, he was a naturopathic doctor. And in the 70s, they studied food a lot. And they were getting on to the fact that if you got your body to 7.2, your saliva, on a pH scale, that they saw a lot less disease. And he said, like, the next day, Nixon declared war on cancer. And he said all food research dried up. And this is a man, he wrote a book in the 90s, Beyond Pritikin. He was a co-author. So he's a really well-known man. He just had a lot of health issues, car accidents and stuff in his life. But he was fascinating to talk to. So I talked to him for 3 days in a row. I gave him extra time. And after talking to him, I went to the health food store and I opened up the first book on acid alkaline balance, and the page I read said, when you are overly acidic, your body will, your lymph system won't work, and you're going to fill with waste, and that's going to create disease. That's the first thing I read, and a light bulb went off my head, because I had been learning about the lymph system for many years from the best doctor in the world, and I understood the importance of it to every organ, every system in your body. But I never understood that if we're acidic, and think about it, that's what makes us tight, right? When you get acidic, your body just goes like this. Your cells, every cell, everything is made up of cells in your body. Most are alive. Your body just goes like this. The cells constrict. Now there are channels for insulin. There are channels for water. There are channels for different things. Can't function because that cell is constricted. And this is all my idea of understanding the lymphatic system and cells. We're a cellular being. So it's just a little bit different understanding of, we got to sit up straighter. We have to be, and I slouch all the time. I'm on a computer a lot nowadays, and my wife will walk by and she'll see me slouching. She'll straighten up. I'll straighten up. Or if we're walking by each other in the kitchen and one is slouching, one will straighten up, the other one will straighten up. If I see somebody in the street slouching, and if you look at a lot of elderly people, they're way over like this.
Yeah.
Studies have shown that will lead to more dementia. A Japanese study, they said when the head comes over the spine more, then you're going to have more problems with how you think, because we're not flowing as well. So to me, the big thing is posture. So head back, shoulders back. It makes a tremendous difference. I mean, you feel flow in your body. When we slouch for a few minutes, like a lot of people are on my lecture, on my classes and stuff on Zoom, and they're slouching in front of their computer or their phone, and I tell them, okay, straighten up middle. Does that feel different? Every one of them says, "Oh, that feels different." You can feel it in your body. No one's ever told you that we have to stand straighter to allow this system to actually flow that cleans us or moves around our immune cells, right? And it's for everything. It doesn't matter what anxiety is rampant. I want to mention one thing before I talk about anxiety. Sometimes if somebody's very toxic, I'll work on them. And what do they go home and do? They have a big emotion, right? So when and that's because I release waste, which made them a little more toxic for a day or two. They have more emotions and then it goes away. Now, people who are stuck in emotional, really bad, where they have emotions, they're crying, that means they're just toxic, and their brain, and we, in 2024, a study came out saying, brain acidity linked to multiple neurological diseases. So we know that the lymph system is important, and now we're learning that the brain becomes acidic, and that leads to depression, autism, Alzheimer's, seizures, headaches, migraines. PTSD, the list. So our goal is to use the lymph system to get acidity out of the brain. And that's really my specialty. There are a lot of people, I specialize in the brain. And that's the difference between me and a lot of other people. But again, there are a lot of good people online, some people for cancer and different things. But mine is really, I understand the brain.
this is impacting your everyday life in ways that you're
E-
so
Every
unaware
day, no
of.
matter what, skin problems, you have dental problems, you have ear problems, eye problems, pain, you have MS, autoimmune diseases we talked about. It does not matter. This system is key to not curing, and I want to make people understand that it's not about curing a disease. We try and kill cancer with chemo and radiation. We're also damaging other cells. Where in many other countries, they tell people, go home, change your diet, take some supplements, live a better life, and let's see what happens in a year or two. I believe a lot of people get damaged from the chemotherapy, or not even just the chemotherapy, even the new immune the protocols, right? That they take your T cell, they take a T cell from your body, they fix it up outside and make more of them, and then they put it back in your body. So they're taking your own immune system and putting it back in because ours aren't working. They say by the age of 65, your thymus, which is right here above your heart, and it houses our T cells, is not functioning. So I believe by activating your lymphatic system, changing your diet, doing a little exercise, you can stimulate flow through your thymus. It's really important, but we have to get our immune system flowing, and then we do much better. But it's all about these vessels right here, right? And you'll let me know. We'll do the Lymphman shoulder shuffle, and it's something people can see on Instagram too at Lymphman. But I get on almost every day and tell people, hey, this is some new science, or here's what I'm talking about this week, and let's do the Lymphman shoulder shuffle. And I just want to be a reminder to people that you have to think of your lymph system every day. And I've been doing that almost every day for almost a year and a half. So it may seem redundant just doing this, but I have people telling me, John, my allergies are gone. My headaches are gone after a couple of weeks of doing this, and they're doing nothing else, right? They're just learning how to open up their major lymph vessels, and it changes their life.
Wow. I have a question that came up while you were talking about the chemotherapy. So then lots of things that we're doing, gosh, this just made me think of more, even in efforts to be healthier, like exercising, but without stretching afterwards, like things like that. Like chemotherapy can't work at its full efficacy if it's now caused this backup of the fluid and it's not doing what it needs to do. So do you think that maintaining your lymph system even during like a chemotherapy would just give you a better rate of success?
Yeah, I'm big on that. I have a lot of
Yeah.
people who come in with cancer, and it's not just people who have, stage 1, stage 2, people who are really at the end of their life. And because I believe you deserve to have quality of life, right? And if we can extend your life a little bit,
Yeah.
chemotherapy, radiation creates a lot of decellular waste. That's the allopathic end. But more of the naturopathic end, using immunology and things like that, that also creates waste. There's a thing called a cytokine storm that when they give you these immune cells, sometimes it overramps your immune system, and that has killed some people because it just shuts down your lymphatic system, your organs. So if we're going through any treatment at all, we need to activate our lymphatic system to reduce the buildup in inflammation and cellular waste that's going to interfere with our healing. And then we do better. I mean, it's really common sense once we understand the lymphatic system. And I truly understand the system. It's my passion. My wife calls it my Italian passion. But I am up every night researching, writing. For the last 20 years, ask my kids, when they were younger, I'd put them to bed and I go into the computer. I would go in and work. And I've done that for 20 something years. Every night, my wife goes to bed early. I'm back on a computer researching and doing things. And I understand this, and every person needs to understand what I understand. And then they have a better chance, an edge. And that's what we want, an edge in being able to take care of our health, because we're just struggling. And we're taking meds to cover things up. And sometimes we need meds. I have no problem with that. I love doctors. If I have a heart attack, I'm going to go to a doctor. I have a car accident,
Yeah.
break a leg, I'm going to go to a doctor. But if you want to get healthy, you need to take steps and learn the lymphatic system, because it'll be decades before we start learning about it from the medical system.
Yeah, so it's really more of a yes and. Like, go to the doctor, have your screenings, get the proper medications, but nothing will work as effective if your lymphatic system is not running smoothly.
Right. Use your doctors for what they're best at, finding out what's wrong with you. And then try some more natural ways. I mean, never stop a medication. Some people need medications, right? But if you reduce the burden of inflammation in your body, because many medications make us more acidic and toxic, if we can manage that toxicity, then we just start feeling better, right? We just start feeling better, more even, instead of ups and downs. Think about when you have your digestive issues, or when you're more emotional, or when you have more anxiety, or you can't sleep. Why does that happen? And then next day you're feeling great. Why does that happen? Now, that happens to me. I don't have anxiety. I don't get brain fog. But when I'm doing a detox, and I tend to detox almost weekly a little bit, and every few weeks I'll do a little more of a detox. During a more intense detox, I'll feel a little brain fog. The next day, my wife will say, "What's wrong with you?" Because I'm walking around in the fog. I don't know what to do. I'm like really lost, right? I'm feeling nervous about things. I never get nervous about things. I'm anxious about things. And then a few hours later, I move my lymph system a little bit. I go and it goes away. Where most people are trapped in that toxicity, and it just doesn't go away overnight. It takes time. But I want to tell you about a story. I did a lot of studies when I realized the lymphatic system was missed in medicine. I did a lot of studies, and I would put people through. I had a center with a bunch of therapists, and I told my therapist, have your people come to me. I want to see what happens three days in a row when I activate their lymphatic system. I don't suggest this for anybody because it was serious. And I saw a wide variety. We had a medical center, cancer, autism, people with anxiety, people with all different problems. And what would happen the first night, I would do the same routine, what I call lymph practice, and they would have a little reaction. At first, they felt great. Afterwards, you always feel good when you activate the lymphatic system. But a few hours later, that's removing waste from your tissues. It's pulling trapped waste that's been there for a long time. It goes into your neck, goes into your blood, and it makes you more toxic. And that's what most people don't understand. And then they do a herb or a supplement or a therapy, and they feel sick, and they go, "Oh, I don't want to do that no more." Well, you have to feel that little bit of a detox reaction, or you'll never get well. Well, that night they would have little problems. Next day would come in, and especially fatigue, and because I'm making their blood more acidic, which can't hold oxygen. And then they would come in the next day and say, "Yeah, I was just a little tired. I don't know what it was." I would work on them the exact same session. Everybody got the exact same thing. They felt much better afterwards, more alive. And then a few hours later, they got aggression, anxiety, depression. I mean, people who never had depression or anxiety. Because I stimulated it twice in a row. People had digestive issues. People had to have somebody drive them because they couldn't think. I saw all these things. I did this for a year. I saw all these problems just manifest. So it wasn't like I did something different for every person. I did the exact same thing. And I brought out this waste, and it made all these different problems wherever they had their least circulation. And then the next night, even aggression. I had a little wife who said she smacked her husband, and she would never do that. And the next day, the next day they would come in and say, "What was that? I felt like I had the flu." And, I would work on them, and they would feel much better again. But they wouldn't have that detox reaction because we initiated and released a lot of that waste. And that waste, again, that's why I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't drain yourself or do really intense exercise. Not until you're less inflamed, right? Once you've been taking care of your lymphatic system a little bit, you can do a little more. But most people are so inflamed in their body. That's psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis. I mean, it's every disease we have, and it's making the inflammation. We see it in our skin. We get red, we get bumps, we get all different things. But it's really just inflammation. And as we reduce that inflammation by changing our diet a little bit, being consistent and doing a little exercise, and I mean simple exercises, right? Just exercises to open up the major lymph vessels here, right? You can't just go out and walk. You have to open up these first. And we're going to do a little shoulder shuffle that you're going to see is going to make you feel really good. But it's just a little bit different way of thinking. We have to include the lymphatic system into our lives and not become crazy about it like I am. And I'm not crazy about it because I live a relatively normal life. I'm not perfect in my life. But I know how to clean up with my lymphatic system. And that's what most people aren't doing. We're not even thinking about it. So if I can get a few of your listeners and you to think about your lymphatic system a little more often, Melissa, I think we've done a good job.
Brother, I'm going to be thinking about this a lot. Okay, show me the shoulder shuffle. I'm excited.
All right. So we have to think about posture. You see, you just straightened up a little bit.
Mhm.
And that makes a big difference. And where we do see a lot of our problems is right in here, right? You do have a little bit of swelling. You do have some redness here. Those are all signs of lymphatic stagnation. And I've had people with big swelling here. We call it, goiters and stuff. It could just be fluid. And we start draining it, and a couple of sessions later, it goes away. So a lot of our issues, even in our organs, are about stagnation. So by standing up straighter, my back just cracked, head back, shoulders back. My legs just started to flow. I can feel that. Then breathing, right? Let's do the shoulder shuffle first, because I believe besides
Okay.
posture, that should be the first thing we do. And basically, we just want to move one shoulder up. I put my hands on my lap. If you have any neck pain or neck surgeries, check with your doctor. But this is gentle, right? You can really do it just like this, really simple. And I'm going to do it faster than this, but just do that really light. One shoulder up, one shoulder down. And we're not going front to back. That doesn't work. It's just up and down, and go right up to your ear. Really push it up. That's it. Push it up. Now, if you don't have any pain in your neck and shoulders, I want you to really do it fast. And do it about 20, 30 times. See, you can't even do it. Most people can't even do it. They're so tight. So you have to practice this. You want to get it to where you can do it really fast, right?
Yeah, it doesn't go up very far or easy.
No, and that's because your muscles are so tight. They become so
They
constricted.
are.
So you have to stretch those. You have to relax those, and it takes time. But simple movements like my back, my spine, I could feel things flowing up like rivers up my back, right? Even have a little moisture, because when we move our lymph system, it's like exercise. Then after we do that, even though I'm hoping people feel flow throughout their whole body, then we want to just do some gentle stretches, right? Just get your hands over your head and feel it all the way down into your hip. Because as we're doing this, we're not just stretching the skin, we're opening up our organs. We're stretching our organs. And now we're allowing our lower body to flow. Because most people, we have leg problems, pelvic problems, abdominal problems, and we concentrate on the problem, the symptom. But we have to open up the major. I'm tingling again throughout my whole body. What did we just do? We didn't do much, did we? Are you feeling a little
Yeah.
different?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel
right?
looser, first of all.
There you go. We
But
can't just live in.
I feel sensations like here right now.
That's because you've opened up the major lymph vessels, and it's allowing things to start to flow. Then we want to take a few deep breaths. And I would do these 2 or 3 times a day. I would watch my posture, do the lymph man shoulder shuffle, and take some deep breaths. But I would especially do it before I go to bed, because when we sleep at night, your lymphatic system, which was found in 13, it cleans at night. 90% of it cleans at night. And that lymphatic system has to go into your lymph system. So if your lymphatic system in your shoulders are tight and not flowing, then your brain is going to back up, right? Your lymphatic system can't flow into the lymphatic system. And this is all really simple things if you understand just simple house plumbing, right? Things have to flow, right? You flush a toilet, things have to go down. And if your sewer or your drain gets clogged up, it's going to back up with fluid. And that's what happens in our organs and in the rest of our body. So let's just take a few deep breaths, and it's really simple. Just sit with good posture. Do the lymph man shoulder shuffle first. Think of something that makes you happy, right? It could be a pet, it could be a car, it could be a meal, it could be a loved one. Think of something that makes you happy because it changes your physiology. And then you want to just take a deep breath in and blow it out with force. When you blow it out with force, that makes a wave through your body. But when we breathe, we're pulling fluids, lymph fluid, venous fluid through our body. So if we don't deep breathe enough, and most people do not deep breathe, then we're not moving. Again, my legs are tingling just from doing that. We did it a couple of times. So let's take another deep breath. And blow it out. Yeah, even harder than that. Now, if someone has sinus problems, I'm going to tell you why you don't want to ignore that, because and even if you can't breathe through your nose, you want to keep on breathing. Try to breathe through your nose, because your sinus problems are about acidity in the tissues constricting them. And if you never breathe through your nose, you're never going to move blood supply through them. So you have to take a few weeks and just start really trying to get a little blood flow going through there and lymph flow. But they just found nasopharyngeal lymphatics in the back of the nose and the nasal area that drain the brain. It's a big hub for draining the brain. So if you have sinus problems, you may not be cleaning your brain as well. So again, I work a
Ah,
lot with people who have sinus problems. It's something they can gain control over once they learn the lymph system. They can learn how to create flow going out of their face, even in their mouth, because it's not just your superficial. Even how to open your eyes to help your brain. It's just. I believe it's something that we all need to start teaching our children, our families, our grandkids much earlier, and then we'll do a lot better. We won't have the diseases
yeah.
that we have.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like it will significantly reduce depression and anxiety.
Yeah. Oh, there are many, many, many studies, and I just want to mention that people can go to my the the Revolution podcast, the Revolution podcast, or healthylymphsystem.com, healthylymphsystem.com to learn more about me. But I have 39 now podcast episodes up, and I don't talk about one thing. Each week I talk about something different. Next week I'm talking about rebounding. This week I talked about back pain. Last week I talked about the tinnitus, and there's a lot of people with tinnitus. That was my biggest thing. It was crazy. A lot of
Yeah.
people, and they have it for decades and decades. And if we understand that, some people from loud noise, it may not get much better, but if we can change the cellular environment, the loud noise can get less. And I had tinnitus. They never had it before. After COVID, I had COVID twice, and I didn't get it right after, about a month later. So it took time for waste to build in my body,
Mm,
because what they say happens is you get the virus, and it could be a flu, it could be a common cold. You get a virus, it makes a lot of cellular waste in your body. The virus goes away, but that cellular waste, the DNA, the RNA, stays and inflames your body. And that's why a month later, both times I had tinnitus, and it took me weeks to get rid of it, working hard. So I believe it can change for some people. If you've had a lot of loud noise, that may have damaged things. But if you can change the cellular environment, by increasing circulation with the lymph flow and relaxing your shoulders and maybe vibrating your neck. That I like vibration. I have a big handheld vibrator I put on my neck, my shoulders, or
yeah,
wherever
I've
I have
been
a health
using a
problem.
massage gun.
Yeah, and the massage gun is nice, but that you can only use on your muscles.
Yeah.
Where I can use a vibrating massager, one called Genie Rub. It's been around since 1967, I think. I put it on my head. I put it everywhere on my body where I feel I have some
Okay.
stagnation during a different time. So I like vibration, and a lot of science is coming out on how sonic waves, vibration, can actually help a lot of health problems, because to me it's
So
stimulating
those vibration
circulation.
plates are worth it then?
I like vibration plates, right? They're good. It can do whole body, but I like the handheld one, because like a few
Okay.
years ago, I didn't realize my left shoulder was going bad. I had a shoulder surgery, an injury, and it failed. And this is where your lymph flow, 95%, uh,
Yeah.
most of it goes here. 3/4 of it goes here on your left side for most people. And it was affecting my heart. I went to the heart. I went to the doctor's ER twice, having a heart attack. It was affecting my pancreas, and they said there's nothing wrong. And I went home and I said, you know what? I'm going to tape up my shoulder. I'm going to drain this side of my body. I'm going to stretch it more. I'm going to pay attention to this area more. The heart problem went away, and the pancreatic problem went away. So everything is about flow. Are your organs, are your glands, are your bones, is your brain, are they getting the right circulation? And because the lymph system right here becomes congested, we are not flowing as well as we can, and we get a backup of waste, and that creates our inflammation. Because most people don't know what inflammation is. It's what your lymph system can't clean up in
Yeah.
your tissues. It's the immune cells. It's the dead cell material. It's a lot fibrin. So it's really just a simple thing. Don't make it hard. You don't have to become an expert. In my courses, I teach you about the anatomy and physiology, but you're not going to become an expert in it. My thing is to teach you how to maintain your lymphatic system, right? How to take care of it every day. That's more important. But you have to have an understanding of the lymphatic system, which we do give.
Sure.
But it really is just learning a different lifestyle. Right. I don't want to be perfect in my life. It's too boring. I have one life to live. And if you understand the lymph system and how to clean up with it, we can do much better.
Oh, I love it. Well, lymph man, John Ossipinsky. Did I say it right?
Yes, said it right.
Okay, yay. Tell us again where we can find you.
Yeah, healthylymphsystem.com, Instagram at lymphman. I'm on there almost every day except the weekends. I'll still put something else up. And really, if you have any questions, go to my contact page on my webpage. I like to answer questions for people, but I just want people, especially if you're really struggling, know that there's hope. That's what I give people. People tell me, John, you give me hope, because most people aren't really talking about what I'm talking about. And it's just a simple plumbing system that we need to open up and get control over with our diet, some basic supplements like magnesium, and just being consistent in maintaining it with some exercise and doing the lymph and shoulder shuffle, and maybe draining your whole body. You know, I have an 8-minute routine, a 12-minute routine. My beer course teaches how to drain your organs, right? Do you think about it? Our organs, our heart fills up with waste. You get heart disease. Your kidney. We should know how to clean up our organs, and it's something we can do with the lymphatic system.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. I have loved this. I will certainly start following your podcast. And yeah, I just appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me, and I hope we help your listeners really understand the power of the lymphatic system. Keep flowing.
Me too. Audience, make sure you check the show notes because his links will be there. But thank you. Okay, I'm going to press stop if you'll hang out for one. Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share.
Emotionally unavailable.